Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another episode of James and Loki's Gems of the Week, the weekly series exclusive to subscribers via X or Patreon of all the tweets that I liked over the previous week. I show them to you one by one and talk about each one, along with my co-host Loki, if he's up and awake. He's already eaten his breakfast this morning, so all you get to see from Loki right now is his ears and the top of his head, his forehead. You can't see his face right now, tucked in behind his big blue soft blanket. But here's where we left off last week, talking about this thread from Gary Black with a bunch of tables in it and stuff. This was before Tesla's earnings release, so I'm going to walk you through all the tweets that happened the week that Tesla released earnings. So here is the next tweet that I liked after filming last week's episode from Sawyer Merritt, frequently featured on this program because he sends so many good tweets. This one says, loss per EV sold as of end of Q2 2023. Lucid loses $544,000 per EV sold. Neo 35,000, Rivian 33,000, Ford 32,000. These are losses, not profits, folks. So a little bit of perspective is actually nice to start off this video. Hey, could be worse. You could be an investor in a company that's losing lots of money on every EV they sell on average. Tesla is still producing profits, selling only EVs. Here's one from the Short Shorts historian at Tesla Historian, another usual suspect on my likes. This day in TSLAQ history, horrible so horrible. At Commuter NYC 4 years ago, he names himself Commentator, but his handle is Commuter NYC, saying Tesla is losing money, period. Further, Tesla losing money has zero to do with investing in growth. There is no growth. There is no investing in the future. These are Musk lies, commentator said. Hashtag Tesla is losing money because Tesla is mismanaged. Tesla is a horrible investment. So horrible. Short Shorts historian said. Yeah, this tweet from October 19th of... October 14th of 2019, right before Tesla reported third quarter earnings in 2019, and the stock took off and continued to rally into the following year, and then a lot through 2020. So we remain much, much higher than the split-adjusted level Tesla was trading at back then. Oh, that's handy. He's given a pre-split and a post-split axis. For the y-axis on the left, what you can see is what the price was at the time. So ARK Invest had a $4,000 price target on Tesla back here, and then Tesla did run past $4,000 to start 2021, and then late in the year in 2021 before it came back to earth some with the interest rates rising so much like they did all of 2022 into 2023. Bear markets, not a lot of fun for investors. Here's the next tweet that I liked from James Catt at TeslaFanMTL. Here's the thing about price cuts. When demand is high, Tesla isn't cutting prices, thanks Captain Obvious. But here's what I mean. This graph charts Tesla's website organic search data by month in the US. Notice that when search interest is high, prices increased. As search interest dropped, eventually prices were cut. Tesla is still well below 2021 and most of 2022 search interest. By the way, notice the sharp drop in September 22. This also coincides with the last time Tesla had an extended backlog. Also coincides with Twitter takeover. But I digress. My point, rather than driving down the price to move cars, Tesla should instead be focused on how to drive interest up. This organically will lead to more demand and better price stability and better margins and better Tesla stock prices FYI, I track Tesla website search interest monthly in multiple markets and share with subscribers. So he's retweeting Gary Black talking about cutting price. But if 90% of Americans still think Tesla costs more than comparable ICE vehicles and have no clue about how easy Teslas are to charge, they have range anxiety, they don't know about full self-driving or the continuous OTA updates, they don't realize how safe Teslas are, etc. The list goes on. So the line chart here is just search interest. It went a lot higher, and at these highs, Tesla was increasing prices, and then since it has started to drop from very high search interest, there haven't been any more price increases. There have been price cuts as the search interest fell. All right, so that's that tweet. Here's one from executive producer of this program, Bradford Ferguson. Maybe I'll take it back to the intro cam for just a second to show off my Rebellionaire shirt that Bradford Ferguson gave me this morning. He invited me to breakfast with him. Bradford is in Florida visiting on vacation right now, and invited me to breakfast and was nice enough to pay for my breakfast this morning and hand me a Rebellionaire polo shirt. So I am wearing it proudly. And thank you, Bradford, for your executive producership of this program. Let me go back to my share desktop cam to show you the tweet he sent. It should be noted, this is Adrian's natural speaking voice. He adds in some Elonisms for sure. So this was responding to my video about the X space where Adrian Dittman, who actually has two N's in his name, I tagged the wrong Adrian Dittman. Yeah, they were both in the same space, and listeners couldn't tell which of them was the real Elon because Adrian sounds so much like Elon, even if he plays it up a little bit by using some of Elon's favorite expressions. Here's one from Anthony, at Anthony in 757. Politi-reality right now. What's he replying to? Well, it's this tweet that Politi-reality picked a fight with me in right away. And I made a video about this, so go check out that video if you don't know why he was wrong about European sales. He's saying European sales are in terminal decline, and the only problem with that is European sales are at all-time record highs with a few months left to go in 2023 to add to the all-time record Tesla has already broken. And I just liked this funny still image. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe he's a football coach of some variety. But there are GIFs of him being disappointed with what he sees in the field. Here's one from Ryan McCaffrey. Stainless steel car family photo. DeLorean DMC 12, a.k.a. Dad, right, age 41, and Tesla Cybertruck, a.k.a. son, left, newborn. Yeah, a release candidate Cybertruck is as newborn as they get. And the DMC, if you don't know what that stands for, it's DeLorean Motor Company, John DeLorean's company. So there you go. The two most well-known, anyway, stainless steel vehicles ever made. Here's one from Rebellionaire. In Season 1 of the Tesla and Musk-related verified orgs alone, Rebellionaire Original Series. Didn't expect that ending to the season after 3 verified orgs tapped out in the same month. So yeah, a few verified organizations have had to shut down already. Rebellionaire still going strong. Happy to support Tesla Boomer Mama, Farzad, Herbert, and Penny. Further growth on X once they make it through medical checks. Admire their work greatly and what they do for others, both on and off X. We are one people. Yeah. So good stuff there. Here's one from Elon Alerts at Elon_alerts. Elon liked a post from me. So this was the Twitter space that I was mentioning earlier with Adrian Dittman. Elon must have remembered that event fondly. Here's one from Ken Kirtland IV. I've never seen this account before. I don't think before seeing this tweet. But you can follow at Ken Kirtland17 on X. In the last 10 months, SpaceX has had more successful orbital launches than all other U.S. providers combined have had since the beginning of 2020. Whew. So going back to the end of 2019, everybody else launching from U.S. soil combined have fewer launches than SpaceX has so far this year. That's dominance on the part of SpaceX. Here's one from Adrian saying all good that I mistagged him in my tweet. He says his name is quite strange, and he didn't even notice that I had tagged the wrong Adrian Dittman. So here's the correct handle at ADRIANDITTMANN. That's how you follow the correct Adrian Dittman. For those of you who are audio-only listeners, I know I have a few. Here's one from Tesla Historian, another good one. This day in TSLAQ history, the train seems to be taking a scenic route and stopping at every station. I remember where he's going with this tweet, tagging at inertia 4 years ago. That's not inertia spelled correctly. That's inertia spelled wrong. At INURSHA. And I'll have to paraphrase this for a family audience. He doesn't want to hear complaining from TSLAQ. Stars are falling everywhere, ahem. And now is the time to stick to your beliefs. Profit on the micro moves at your own discretion. That has to be the funniest short-selling advice of how to short Tesla I've ever heard in my life. Profit on the micro moves. See, he sent this tweet at a time that Tesla stock was trending upwards, right? The price was rising steadily since June of 2019 when it hit the 5-year low. It had been recovering a lot by the 16th of October 2019. And he said, this train stops at one station and that's $0. Hashtag SIAs, hashtag Tesla. So funny. So funny. Profit on the micro moves at your own discretion. So I think what Inertia was advising people to do was to guess at daily or weekly tops and to short, for a day or an hour or whatever, and profit from the micro moves. Yeah, you're probably going to have a lot of success trying to time your short position daily or weekly. Ouch. So, I had to reply with profit from the micro moves and 69 crying laughing emojis after it, because that is so funny. Okay, next tweet from Viv at Battle Angel Viv. The charging icon is a little cyber triangle? Even I didn't know that. Love this detail, OMG. Only North American Charging Standard can fit in such an inconspicuous location. Yeah, you don't need a very big charge port door when the port size only has to be big enough for the NACS port. But yeah, check it out. You got a green status indicator light here in the shape of a Cybertruck silhouette. So that's a very fun little design detail that I'm sure somebody on Franz's team cooked up, which is, one of those fun things about buying a car. You find little cute choices like that throughout. Here's another one from Sawyer. Adam won Tesla's Model 3 Performance raffle from the referral program, retweeting Adam J. Bustamante at Adam J. Bustamante on X, who tweeted, "I won the Model 3 Performance, one of the luckiest days of my life. Thank you, Tesla and Elon Musk." So that's pretty awesome. Next tweet from My Tesla Weekend at 4K Podcast, retweeting me. Or quote tweeting me. I said, Tesla loses market share. Tesla's market share slipped to the lowest on record. I made 3 different videos about this FUD article claiming that Tesla was losing market share when Tesla gains market share every year. Brian White said in this quote tweet, "Reuters used to be the gold standard, but once they added the paywall, it became all about chasing them tasty clicks. Now they smell like a wet sneaker rescued from one of those anaerobic lagoons you find beside a dairy farm." I thought that was such a compelling turn of phrase that I owed Brian a like on that one, and 42 other people felt likewise. Here's one from Static Fire Cat at Static Kitty Cat on X. "I always feel so much smarter after I watch your videos. Great content." And that was just a heartwarming little reply to see, so I liked that one. I was one of 2 people who liked that tweet. Here's one from Luca Greco at Luca Greco ITA on X. "The Cybertruck body in white under sunlight, it shows off the front and rear gigacastings." So yeah, check it out. Here is an image of what's underneath. What is the skeleton of a Cybertruck? What's it look like? Very cool to see these body in white on the back of a flatbed trailer photos. So you can see exactly where the axles and the wheels would be mounted on here, and you can see that you've got a solid wall separating the bed from the back seat of the Cybertruck, which makes sense because you need somewhere solid for the vault cover to go when you push the button and retract it down. So some people had hoped for a pass-through from the bed to the back seat, and looks like we're not going to get that because the body in white has a solid piece of metal there. But cool to see the front and rear castings here being pretty large for Cybertruck, possibly using that 9,000-ton press they had IDRA make for them. I don't know whether to call them IDRA or what. I'll just call them IDRA for short, I guess. Here's one from Forward Cap at Forward Cap on X. "Lucid's delivery numbers are a disaster." Yeah, they've been under 2,000 vehicles delivered every quarter for the past 5 quarters, and 4 out of those 5 have been below 1,460, including the most recent one. So yeah, their best quarter was Q4 of 22. Ending this tweet, 4% year-over-year growth, given the high fixed costs and growth expectations, can kill this company. Now, Lucid has some deep-pocketed investors who may want to keep the company alive for a long time, but the company isn't earning a lot of confidence in their ability to scale and sell those vehicles. Here's one from Dave Lee at HeyDave7. "Workers at Tesla, Toyota, Honda, and others are not the enemy. They're the UAW members of the future." A quote from Sean Fain, UAW president. So all that was what the UAW president, Sean Fain, said. Dave Lee says, "Please know," fun little trivia fact, Sean Fain's 2 previous predecessors in that role, president of the UAW, are both in jail. Are both in jail for extortion or fraud or, I don't know, money laundering or wire fraud or whatever they're in jail for. Corruption of some kind or another, law breaking. Yeah. So a lot of people who work for Tesla in Fremont, at the Fremont factory, were UAW members under the previous regime, that being the GM and Toyota. I think they made Geo Prisms out of there, and whatever the Toyota equivalent of a Geo Prism is. Little budget compact cars. And the UAW didn't help them keep their jobs at all. That factory shut down and took their dues money and ran with it. So yeah, they haven't forgotten yet what it was like to pay dues to the UAW back when they were union members. But I fear that with every passing year, fewer of them are around to remind new hires what that's like. Here's one from the Short Shorts historian at Tesla Historian, attributing a quote to Bears: "The dealership networks exist for a good reason."
The dealership networks exist for a really good reason.
Rust proofing.
Rust proofing?
Transport charge, storage surcharge, additional overcharge, finder's fee.
Finder's fee was on the lot.
Yeah, that's right. And floor mats, keys.
Keys?
They're gonna start it.
The
So funny. So with a little clip there from Seinfeld, overcharge, charge. Pretty great work there from Seinfeld, and from the other actor who I can usually remember. Sorry about that. Patrick Warburton. That's the guy's name. Yep. Great work there. Running tape as he rattles off the list of all the extra charges the dealership slaps on you if you try to buy a car from them. Here's one from Danielle at Danny_L831 on X. Day-to-day use of an EV is far more convenient than a gas car. Only on long trips are you mildly inconvenienced. Wouldn't you rather have an easier day every day and have to stop slightly more frequently on those trips you take, once a year? I still have to stop every 2.5 to 3 hours while driving a gas car to stop and use the restroom, or eat, or grab a snack, or just, get out, stretch your legs, walk a dog if you have a pet with you in the car. Take care of that. Let the kids play at the playground or something if you got kids with you, right? Great points being made there. I can't send out this same tweet all the time, constantly, but I think many years ago, I tried stating it as, how many days per year are you driving more than 3 hours per day? If you had to count them up, right, in an average year, how many days out of that year are you driving more than 3 hours per day? Because those are the only days when you might need to recharge, to stop and recharge your car on the road. But you were going to have to stop to eat anyway. You were going to have to stop to grab coffee or, all that other stuff that I just said. Anyhow, right? You're maybe only stopping for a little longer so that your Tesla can supercharge while you do that stuff. And if you're only trying to charge up to 80%, you may only need to stop for 20 minutes or 25 minutes or whatever. That's not much of an inconvenience. It doesn't really hit people until after they've bought the EV that their range anxiety was a big nothing burger. But the way to think about that is, if you've never had an EV before, if there were a service you could pay to come to your house and top off your gas tank at your house every night, overnight, so every morning, the first time you stepped into your car to drive it, it had a completely full tank, how many days per year would you have to stop at a gas station? Is it 4 days a year you would have to stop at a gas station if every morning your vehicle had a full tank? It might be, right? So that's what driving an EV is. You park your EV at home, you plug it in, it takes 2 seconds, and you walk inside, right? You forget about it until the next morning, and it's a full tank of electrons every morning. You don't have to worry about recharging it on the road, finding a charging station. Those are non-issues for Tesla owners, anyway. Here's the next tweet I liked from Troy TSLAQ. Tesla is not going to answer some of these questions, but here's my take. I estimate 70,000 Cybertruck deliveries in 2024. And I should note for the audio-only listeners, that's Troy saying that, not me. I have a different estimate. I want to say mine's like 91,750 or something like that. I just saw it recently, so not that many more than Troy expects. But if you want to see how he answered all of the say questions, you can pause this video as I scroll through and read his answers to these questions and to the follow-up questions that people asked. Troy doing yeoman's work, looking stuff up, and publishing his forecasts with people. He's got a pretty good system going. On Patreon, if you support him, you can get the information 7 days earlier than he tweets it publicly. So that's how he can get a lot of Patreon subscribers while still having a really large public following for free as well. Here's one from Matthias Fons at FonsDK. Lucid is on track to miss its FY23 production forecast from 2021 by 85%. Meanwhile, the CEO who shared this forecast to investors 2 years ago was paid $379 million in compensation in 2022, equivalent to $53,000 per vehicle Lucid produced that year. Whew! Wow, that is a lot of money to pay somebody who is gonna miss their production forecast from 2 years ago by 85%. Ouch. Here's one from Alex at Clouds Galore, who tweeted simply the irony. So I tweeted a screenshot that I took 5 years ago of a promoted tweet of TikTok by Bloomberg, who said on, I don't think I have the date on here, but it was 5 years ago. They said, "Watch out, Tesla. Mercedes-Benz is going all in, investing more than $12 billion in its electric car bet." And that article was promoted by ExxonMobil. Stay away, Tesla buyers. Don't buy a Tesla. Wait for a Mercedes-Benz EQ model that you can buy. I updated my tweet of that screenshot with the caption, "Today Tesla sells about 10 times more EVs globally than the whole Mercedes-Benz EQ lineup of 8 EV models." Now, I don't know if all 8 are available currently, but they have announced 8 EQ lineup models. Anyway, and the irony is that right next to my tweet in this guy's feed was another promoted tweet from ExxonMobil. So they are still sponsoring stuff on X. So thanks for that, Alex at Clouds Galore. Next, a tweet from Morbius. It's like Morbius, but with an L crammed in the middle of it. It's a short video clip from Back to the Future Cybertruck Edition. I'm not going to play the audio for you because it's not family-friendly audio, I don't think. But pretty great work somebody did replacing the DeLorean DMC-12 with the Tesla Cybertruck. Somebody spent a lot of time and effort updating this clip and changing out the out-of-time personalized plate on the back of the DeLorean time machine with LOL gas as the Cybertruck's plate. So pretty great. Check that one out if you want on your free time. Here's one from John of the Universe, or Jan of the Universe, perhaps, at the EV Universe on X, who tweeted, "Christopher is on X as C. Vanderstock. Show him some love. I did follow this account, Chris Vanderstock, and John of the Universe, or Jan of the Universe, whichever way that's pronounced, because this is the guy who brought the court case against the Victoria government in Australia, who was trying to tax EV owners and plug-in hybrid EV owners 2 or 2.5 cents per kilometer driven as an annual tax. And the Australian High Court struck down that tax as being unconstitutional. So great work by Chris Vanderstock getting that tax thrown out by the Australian Supreme Court. So good work there. Here's one from Dylan Loomis. And I say Supreme Court just meaning the highest court in the land. I think it's just called the High Court in Australia. Dylan Loomis, at Dylan Loomis 22, tweeted, "The way that article and the Cox one were positioned deserve to be shredded. Keep on, good sir." So he got 52 likes on that. And I replied with the with the Michael Scott from The Office gif. Am I a hero? I really can't say, but yes. So funny. Great work there. And that was in response to my chart showing that U.S. electric vehicles sold by brand is no contest at all. Tesla is all alone, way out in front, selling almost 500,000 EVs this year, up from almost 400,000 EVs last year. No other automaker sold even 50,000 EVs in either year. So when you see the headline, Tesla loses market share, it's really wrong, because what they mean is Tesla loses electric vehicle market share only by virtue of how poorly all the other competitors performed last year. So the better you did last year and the worse all of your competitors did last year, the easier it becomes for them to take EV market share from you. But there's no such thing as an EV market. There is only the new vehicle market, and Tesla is gaining new vehicle market share. Here's one from the Short Shorts historian. Happy earnings day to all, especially to my favorite analyst who does analysis. Let me back this up.
So I'm a financial analyst, and what I do is analysis. Are you an analyst?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence.
All right, so that's just good stuff. That's just good work creating that slow motion gif of Gordon Johnson. I remember the day that interview came out. I think he was up against Trip Chowdhury, who was the bull in this bear bull debate here. Like, yeah, Trip Chowdhury is an analyst, and what he does is analysis. Now, maybe I've got it confused with another one, where he was up against somebody who actually wasn't an analyst this time, which is why he said that. But it's such a bizarre thing to say on live cable financial news network television. I'm an analyst and what I do is analysis. All right. Here's one from Dylan Loomis. Collapsing demand has never looked so good. Looking at my chart that I tweeted out on the evening of earnings, captioning it simply, the hashtag Tesla growth story continues, with the eyes emoji, to make sure people stopped and looked at this chart. Now, some of the people who looked at this chart pointed out, yeah, but this year, Q3 year to date, isn't ahead of the prior year full year. And in some of the prior years, it was. Okay, fine, but do this exercise with me. Look at, for each year, where the center of the Q1 bar is, which is where the label that says Q1 is, right? Trace that along, and then do the same thing for Q2, and then do the same thing for Q3, right? Are you concerned that this Q3 label isn't far enough to the right of this chart? I think it's doing great. It's on pace. It's keeping up with the prior 4 years worth of growth, over which Tesla's deliveries have been increasing by more than 50% over a multi-year time horizon. So if you start in either 2019 or in 2020, Tesla's ahead of a 50% growth rate. On deliveries, the revenue isn't keeping up quite as well because prices have come down over the past year, which we saw earlier in this video. Here's one from Farzad Misbahi that he sent out during our live stream. So Farzad was nice enough to have me on his live stream during earnings and before. And I was blown away by how quickly he sent this tweet. Like, I take a lot more time when I compose a tweet to type it, tear it up, rephrase it, say it a different way, look over it. Then I hit the post button, and then when the timer is counting down, I'm reading over it again. Sometimes I'll find something I think I could have done better and edit it and then post it again. He fired off vaporware in a second, is what it looked like to me, and hit send, and off it went. So just a funny little insight that I had into what other people's Twitter experiences are like and how different they are from mine. Here's one from the Short Shorts historian. This day in TSLAQ history, Wolfie, I'm tired of waiting. Could you explain this already? 5 years ago, what did Wolfie say? In response to an article by Anton Wallman, you may not be able to read this entire name here or see the dumb James Bond facial expression Anton Wallman is trying to make in his profile pic here. But I recognize it, even with it being partially obscured from having followed TSLAQ as long as I have. He headlined his article, GM's 200-mile electric car for $30,000. R.I.P. Tesla. Rest in peace, Tesla. Tesla is dead, he reported in this headline, January 11th, 2015. And Wolfie, Wolfgang Pipperger, at WPIPPERGER, if he doesn't block you on X, replied, I fully agree with him. When Tesla is bankrupt, you'll know why. Not if, when. When Tesla is bankrupt, you'll know why. Wolfie was a firm believer that Tesla was going to go bankrupt. Here's another one this day in TSLAQ history. Never say never, ever, ever, ever. At Mark B. Spiegel 6 years ago, so on October 19th of 2017, Mark B. Spiegel said, Tesla will never, ever, ever, ever make money, ever. That's so. If you're wondering, did Mark B. Spiegel leave himself some room that he thought Tesla might be a little profitable sometime in the future? I hope he's qualified his forecast enough here that you're clear on what his expectation was for when Tesla would make a profit. Never, ever, 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 ever is what he said. All right, here's our first tweet that I liked from Elon Musk. He sent it less than 24 hours ago as of time of recording. We emptied the entire drum magazine of a Tommy gun into the driver door, Al Capone style. No bullets penetrated into the passenger compartment. So that is the most theatrical way of feeding ammunition into a Thompson submachine gun. So if you watch old gangster movies, you'll see gangsters loading a round drum of bullets up to a Tommy gun, they were nicknamed. And you can burn through all of those bullets very quickly from that little old 100-year-old machine gun. No bullets penetrated into the passenger compartment, so that must have been fun. I don't know why they didn't record video of them doing that and tweet it. It would have gone viral for sure. They would have gotten, they might have gotten 100 million views on that video if somebody had taken it and posted it. Here's one from Scott Wayner at ScottWWW. This is a long tweet, but I'm going to read it to you anyhow. It's funny how one can be excited about a company's future, but at the same time not excited about their present. That's my view on Tesla at the moment, solidified by Elon's comments on the earnings call. When I first bought Tesla shares at the IPO in 2010, along with a Tesla Roadster, an original Roadster, I just thought the company was really innovative, and I loved the concept of a cool electric car. I wasn't a fortune teller and didn't know how big Tesla would become, but I've believed in the company for the duration of its journey and ups and downs. I think EVs are the future, and I don't think most of the current manufacturers are going to make it without restructuring or government assistance. Tesla will make it, and will likely be the leader in EVs for all the reasons you already know about. That said, consumers are an anxious bunch, and, except for early adopters, they believe what they read in the press. They think EVs are fire-prone, cost $80,000 or $100,000, take hours to charge on the road, and that chargers are hard to find. Never mind that their home is a charger. Many people don't know that they can plug in to a regular wall socket. That's what I use. I've never used anything to charge my Tesla except the mobile wall charger that it came with, plugged into a regular outlet that was built with my garage in 2005. I don't buy the "it's all about affordability" argument. Yes, it's a factor, but even with price parity, most people will still buy a gas car because it's what they know and trust. They need an education to learn about and trust EVs, and as we all know, not all EVs are created equal either. You get a better EV ownership experience from a Tesla than you do from other brands. Independent research has confirmed. Elon seems to be betting the future of the company on FSD and Optimus. For FSD to work, it can't kill you 1 out of 1,000 drives, or even 1 out of 10,000 drives. It needs to be nearly perfect all the time. Even if the Nothing But Nets version is nearly perfect, it'll have to prove this out to regulators. And we don't have a robotaxi product yet because Cybertruck was prioritized over the next generation car. Therefore, it's many years away, 3 or 5, from generating revenue. Optimus is very exciting and doesn't have to be nearly as perfect as FSD, relatively cheap, and robots can build robots. It can add huge utility to manufacturing at first, and then all sorts of construction and home use. I do think this is a potential gigantic deal to solve labor, as Elon said, but again, many years away from any kind of ramp, which leads me to agree with Gene Munster's latest commentary. Tesla is in a weird valley right now with slowing growth, launching and ramping Cybertruck, beginning Optimus work, ramping Dojo, and still plodding along, trying to make FSD/Robotaxi work, with version after version, all in a very volatile market, with a 5% 10-year note, maybe a sideways journey unless there's a macro lift. Not financial advice. Thanks to the Tesla team for all the work that you've done over the years. It's tough to find any other company that is constantly striving for a better future. It'll be exciting to see where things shake out over the coming years. So I liked most of what Scott said in that post, which was, the preponderance of that was good enough for me to give him a like on that long tweet. Just trying to zoom out and give the bigger picture after an earnings report that was not among the best Tesla has ever sent out. Not among the best earnings calls Tesla has ever held. Steven Spencer sent a tweet 2 days after earnings pointing out that Polity Reality bottom ticked the market again, captioning it, "Thanks for playing, #Tesla." He even put the quote on here, "We may see the 100s today," is what Polity Reality tweeted on October 20th, right at 11:30 a.m., and that was the bottom for the day. The stock rose the rest of the day back up to $215 without coming within spitting distance of the 100s. And here's one from Tesla Hodler at TSLA RIAN on X. Not sure I've seen this account before, but they've captioned themselves Tesla chair holder Hodler. I misread it. So he's agreeing with Frederick Lynn. Let's read this tweet then to know what we're agreeing with. To those who believe that Tesla should advertise, please explain how Norway got to 80% of all new car sales, and now EVs and Tesla is dominating in that market. Why is this only possible to achieve in Norway? 2 things I think is wrong with the advertising strategy for a lot of people who can afford a Tesla. They have a lot of options to choose from: EVs, diesel, hybrids, and gas. It doesn't matter if you think Teslas are the best cars, they don't, and will happily pay more for something they like. People in general are not that rational. To think people will buy something just because it's the best product is simply not true. In what other retail sector does that happen? Yeah, the efficient markets hypothesis relies on everyone being cold, calculating, rational, purely rational decision makers, doing what's in their economic best interest and only that. But people make purchasing decisions for all sorts of irrational reasons, which is the problem with the rational markets hypothesis. When it comes to high sales volumes in Norway, of first the Model 3 and then later the Model Y, those cars are affordable for the average citizen. That is simply just not the case in most other European countries. I don't mind Tesla doing a little bit of advertising, but I'm struggling to see how it's going to have a big impact in this economy. I firmly believe that the world will follow in Norway's footsteps of EV adoption, but it's going to take some time, and they need more affordable models. All right, so it's the affordability versus awareness discussion, and that's what this tweet was. And so that's where Teslarian came in with agree. Also on this survey linked below, most would mention known brands when randomly asked if they did not do any research on EVs, as would be the answer here in Norway with a random survey a few years ago and even now. Here's the caveat. Once the potential customer does actually do the research, looking at specs, looking at prices, and most obviously opt for a Tesla before a legacy OEM most of the time. Okay, so hopefully we got that message there. Retweeting me with this tweet that I sent out last night. I'll go ahead and walk you through. It's a report in Drive Tesla Canada about a survey conducted by Ipsos Research, finding that 80% of Americans surveyed admitted they did not know how affordable Teslas are today. And then I added emphasis with capital letters saying 80%. Car buyers who think Teslas aren't affordable will not buy one, whether they can actually afford a Tesla or not. So the point that I'm introducing to the conversation here is, okay, fine, affordability is important, but 80% or more of people who can afford a Tesla are not buying a Tesla. And I followed it up with another tweet in this thread saying desirability or interest alone is insufficient if the buyer cannot afford a Tesla, but affordability is also an insufficient condition. Your stool will not stand on only the 2 legs of desirability and affordability. There's one more ability needed for that stool to remain upright, and it's awareness. There has to be awareness that your desirable product is affordable. If people don't desire the product, or if they can't afford it, if they aren't aware that the product exists, they will not buy it. So I finished the tweet. Awareness is absolutely essential because people who don't know they can afford a Tesla or have fallen prey to EV myths will not buy one. We talked about EV myths a little bit earlier in this video, but the ones highlighted by this article are that only 31% of Americans surveyed said they were likely to purchase an EV. So we still have more than 2/3 of people saying they want to buy a regular gasoline or petrol vehicle. In the US, they're going to be called gasoline cars. And this survey included plug-in hybrids in their definition of an EV. So we've got most people wanting to continue fueling their new vehicle with gasoline all the time. So there's still a lot to do coming. Sorry, let me try that again. There's still a lot to do when it comes to education about EVs and their benefits. The main reasons Americans cited that are keeping them from going fully electric were cost. 70% of people said it was cost. All right, so there's the affordability concern, but there's others. Range, 73%, an even higher number than the cost concern. Lack of charging infrastructure, 77%. Folks, this should not be a concern. If you're driving a Tesla, the charging infrastructure exists. There you go. That's full stop. You're going to be able to get where you want to go on the Tesla network, unless you're Earl Banning trying to go to the remotest corners of Alaska. There's a supercharger you can stop at to recharge. And Tesla will put more superchargers in Alaska. They just haven't yet. And environmental impact, 66%. So that was my short thread that I sent out last night. And I got a reply from Bradford here. Wow, they've also even been brainwashed that EVs are worse for the environment. Maybe that was true 15 years ago, but is no longer true today. Yeah, environmental impact. People are concerned that if they buy an EV, it'll be worse for the environment than if they buy a gasoline car. That is how messed up the situation is, right? That is how much education and awareness opportunity remains in the U.S. I did tack on one more tweet at the end just an hour ago with a hopeful note here. But the opportunity disguised as adversity is that 80% of the U.S. market remains untapped. Tesla has been making all these sales in the U.S. all these years, playing with 4 of their 5 hands tied behind their back, right? Tesla has only been able to sell to the 20% of the market that believes a Tesla is affordable. The remaining 80%, nearly all of the market, remains to be educated and to become potential Tesla buyers. And was that the last tweet that I liked this week? No, I got one more here from Jason DeBolt, who tweeted, "It's not money that you've lost because an investment isn't money. What was lost was public confidence in the stock, that's all." Talking about the market's reaction to earnings. What does the public, including Wall Street analysts, know about Tesla? Very little. These people still think Tesla is a car company, pure hallucinations. Your percentage ownership as a stockholder in Tesla did not change. If you know what a company is worth, you know what a company is worth. Tesla is a more valuable company every single day. Every day you hold the stock, you become wealthier. The recent earnings call was a gift to retail shareholders who are buying. Every day, Tesla delivers more products. Every day, Tesla engineers make important but unpublicized breakthroughs. Every day, Tesla pulls further ahead of competitors. Tesla isn't competing anymore. They have transcended the competition. It's like Michael Jordan playing high school basketball at this point. This is a time to be holding and or accumulating. The longer the base, the bigger the breakout. You and me, sometime between 2013 through 2018, that's when I earned my retirement. Investing is a war with your own mind. Replying to Xander Sky at R6Alex, asking Jason DeBolt for help. How do you get comfortable seeing 7 figures evaporate in a day when some can't even stomach 5? What's the secret? And that was Jason's answer here. Yeah, the future value of the company is what matters, not the present value. It doesn't matter what the price is that people are selling the stock for today. You're not selling the stock today. You're going to sell the stock at some point in the future when you need it as retirement income, right? That's the future value of the stock. That's the price that matters. And most Tesla investors I know believe that Tesla is a multi-trillion-dollar stock decades from now. And that's the future value that matters to a long-term investor. Though you will hear lots of grumbling and complaining from the day traders and the options traders who are trying to make a quick buck. And that's my video for today. So with that, we'll check back in with Loki, who has managed to sleep through the entirety of another episode of James and Loki's Gems of the Week. And I'll outro and thank you for being a subscriber to me, either on Patreon or on X, or by joining my YouTube channel as my 2 executive producers did in a very big way. Thank you, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com. Rebellionaire.com representing. And I'll see you in the next one.